My name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I awoke on the surface of a weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. My life support systems can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then, no. Better not think about it. I must find the missing ship parts. And how's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Ron, and welcome to our new Let's Play of Let's Play Pikmin. So let's go ahead and get started and explore the area just a little bit, because in our new Let's Play of Pikmin, I'm going to go ahead and explain what we're going to be doing. But first, the cinematic. A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as if it were waiting for me. It then dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion too. Alright, so this is going to be called an onion, which holds and harvests this thing right here. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. The sprout emits a strange light and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling to me. I'm compelled. I must approach it and press A. So we do that. And we are introduced to this young little thing called Extraordinary. When I plucked the sprout, it turned out to be a living creature, not a plant. Picking it has done no visible damage. It just stands there, staring at me. Its shape is similar to the Pick brand carrots I love so much. I believe I shall call it a Pikmin. Quite suiting. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive, and yet I am intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it and throw it with A, and I'll call it to my side with B. Perhaps it'll react to C and X as well. And the following controls appear to allow me several viewpoints. L is to rotate the camera, R to zoom in and out, Z to change angle. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls and my surroundings. So yes, Olimar is going to be learning the GameCube controls in the year 2021. Amazing. Oh, and we threw it. Alright, so let's go ahead and do what Olimar is instructing us to do and throw it at this plant, which holds a pellet. And throw it again at the pellet so that it can take it to the onion, which on his planet is a thing, but yet on his planet oxygen is considered poisonous, which is a little bit interesting, but you know, that's just part of it. It doesn't really matter. Astonishing! The onion has sown more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. So yes, we can use these pellets, specifically red pellets, to get more Pikmin. This is how we will gather an army. Alright, so while I guess I'm going to be harvesting more Pikmin, let me go ahead and explain what Pikmin is all about. So in this opening cinematic that you guys saw, Captain Olimar, a great captain, on his once beautiful spaceship, which is now wrecked right over there on the far right, on his way back home, got struck by a meteor. And of course, that meteor caused him to plummet down onto this strange planet. And as we saw in the later end towards the cinematic, many parts were scattered everywhere. So now he is stranded here on the impact site, namely, of course, because he impacted here. And he must find a way to get out of here. And as we saw, his life support systems can only support 30 days of fresh air, as he cannot breathe in this poisonous oxygen. So we must do our very best to get as many ship parts as we can, so that way we can get back home safely and not suffer whatever fate we may suffer when we're here, if we're past 30 days. And to the far distance, we can actually see one of said parts. Quite interesting. We should go over there next, but the only thing that's kind of preventing us from doing so is this cardboard box. Our progress is being halted by a cardboard box. It says we need 10 Pikmin, so we still need more to harvest. So let's go ahead and grab some more. Alright, and then there should still be the last one that we need, which is the 5 pellet. That is the last one. And we should definitely have more than 10 to, of course, move on. And just to, of course, I'll explain a little bit more on what's going on here. Since this is the first day, on the top right corner that signals how many days we are in, this is still technically the tutorial day. So of course on the top portion of it you don't see anything, it's just blanked out as part of the screen. Since this is the tutorial, we are pretty much have unlimited time here, since this is of course all about learning how to control Olimar, the Pikmin, and kind of getting familiar with your surroundings. So that's why we pretty much have as much time as we can spend here, just so we know what we're going to be doing on from now on. It's taking a while. Alright. Let's gather the remaining few that we have and be able to push that box. Let us go. Okay, I did not know my way there for a second. Ah, perfect. While the other 10 work on that, pushing it over, the other 4 just look at me. You can even see them just looking. They're just very intrigued by me. They're like, okay, job completed. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned about Pikmin conduct. Approach and press A to pick sprouts. Press A to grab Pikmin. Release to throw. Press B to call them. Press X to dismiss. Use C to command and control the group. L, R, and Z control perspective. I shall record all of this in my computer, and I can press Y to access the computer. Alright? And let's go ahead and do so, and we have 2 screens. The first is giving us an overview of what we see, and that blank to the right side shows us the map, which we really don't know much about yet, and will be explained a little bit more once we get there. And then the right, of course, gives us the controls, and for those who aren't familiar, there you go, for the GameCube. There is also a Wii version, but of course I'm doing the original GameCube release, so that's what you'll be seeing if you ever play this game. And then, of course, just to give some more elaborate details, we are on the impact site, as we said. The Olimar with the Pikmin number 4 signals how many Pikmin are in our command. The onion with the 3 zeros represents how many Pikmin you have in the onion in total. The free with the number 10 represents how many Pikmin are unsupervised and free, that are just not under any command. And the spaceship picture with 0 out of 30, of course, represents how many ship parts we've collected over the total amount, and of course, we have none. But that should soon change, because look, as we approach here, and the Pikmin is more interested in me. Amazing, there's no mistaking it. My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, I have already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me. But how will I get it back to the dolphin? Well, we use these Pikmin. But of course, it needs 20 Pikmin and we only have 14, so we don't have enough to take it over yet. So let's go ahead up here to this cliff with the new box we bridged over and gather more pellets. And we use this. No, what are y'all doing? Help move that one. There you go. There. Alright. I feel like one more. Okay, no, that should be. Okay, that took a while for me. Alright, so we still see at the impact site there's still a decent amount more to explore. There is these gates that are blocking this area. But of course, we can't access it because this red Pikmin, of course, just can't knock it down. It's steel wall. It even gave up. It couldn't even bother. So that means we will have to come back, but not today. Since this is the tutorial, this is just the learning stages of the game, so we are only limited to this area at the moment. But enough of that. Let's go back to the onion and grab the rest of the Pikmin. We harvested the total amount that we can get on the first day, and that is 25. Oh, okay. When many Pikmin seeds sprout at once, I find it rather tedious to pluck them from the ground individually. My wife always told me I was no good at routine tasks. I guess I'll try to get them all done at once by repeatedly tapping A until I pick all the Pikmin from the ground. I noticed that when I add Pikmin to my group, they become filled with excitement and flush with bright color. At other times, they revert to a paler hue and give off a dim glow. Paying close attention to these differences is bound to help me distinguish between Pikmin. Alright, let me go ahead and pick up the rest. And of course, what Olimar was saying there is the current Pikmin that are following us right now, the soon to be 25, are all the bright red color that he was mentioning, meaning they are under our control, and we'll do as we say when we, of course, disband them or throw them. But as we see now, they are all in a hewer pale red, meaning they are not under any control, they are not supervised, they are pretty much just standing there, and of course need guidance, because at this state they can't really do anything. So of course we call them back, they're back to their bright color red, and we'll do under our command. And the last thing we have to do, of course, is to grab the engine, because of course that's what we need to get out of here. Luckily, he stumbled upon the one part that he needed the most out of all 29 other ones that existed for his ship. This is the one that we see first. And of course, after you first spot the engine part, if you go ahead and press A on it, you can get the name of the part and a small description of it. So the Dolphin's main engine, it was pure luck that I found this piece first. With this I can at least lift off. So yes, he can actually lift off with that engine. Because now that we go back to the ship, it's pretty much just an empty, hollow remain of his beautiful ship, named the SS Dolphin. And of course, fun fact, for those who may not still be familiar, this is quite old news, but of course the SS Dolphin is in reference to the codename for the GameCube when it was first being launched, being codenamed Dolphin. So it's suited that the Dolphin is the name of the ship. And as the Pikmin are going to go ahead and bring it up. And one last thing, of course, is if I actually press A on the ship, we get a small tidbit of what we have prepared versus what we need to, of course, lift off. So I have recovered 0 out of 30 ship parts. Just one more part will increase the Dolphin's capabilities, which will soon be the engine. Oh, glorious! With the help of these Pikmin, I have taken a huge step back toward home. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. And yes, just like that, daytime becomes instantly night, so we now leave the planet. So of course this is the scene we'll be seeing a lot throughout the series. This will be the ending day cinematics. Once it gets nighttime, we have to leave the planet. We cannot be here. So of course Olimar goes back to his ship and the Pikmin go back to their onion home. And we lift off out of the surface. Man, imagine without that engine, he'd just be stuck there. One day since impact, I have somehow managed to launch the Dolphin, but I was surprised to see the onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface, or had they merely decided to join me for other reasons. Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The Dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Cocotate. Analysis shows life support systems will function for only 29 more days. How can I repair my Dolphin in such short time? A dense forest is visible on the surface below, as it holds keys to my survival. I name it the Forest of Hope. I explore it tomorrow. Alright, so after we get a small description of what Olimar's experienced that day, we are ended off with the graph that signals, of course, the Pikmin's population for total being 25. And under it is a small line graph that shows how many Pikmin increased or decreased their population throughout the day. Red, of course, being red Pikmin. And under it is just a small description of how many Pikmin were sprouted, lost in battle, or left behind on said day. And, of course, the total for the total amount. And then just under it, of course, the red onion signals 25, meaning that's how many red Pikmin we have in total. And to the right of it, there are still more Pikmin to be discovered. So we will still be seeing those grayed out until we get them. Under that, of course, the one next to the ship signals how many ship parts we got, the one being the engine today. And, of course, parts remaining and the days remaining tally, which signals how many parts we have left to find. And days remaining, meaning how many days we have left before our ultimate doom. So that's just going to be the ending screen that we will always see. It'll always change, hopefully for the better and not for the worse. But that's just how the game will end. It'll always be Olimar's description of the day and then the ending population. And as he said, he was able to discover a dense forest in the distance, being the Forest of Hope, a new location. And as we see on the side, there are a total of 8 parts to discover here, and we're going to be needing all of them. Of course, for the proper game ending, we just need 25 out of 30 to successfully complete the game. But our goal, of course, is to get all 30. And we're just going to try to see how many parts we can get. Starting from day 2, we only have 28 days left to collect 29 more parts. And when we come back in the next episode at the Forest of Hope, we're just gonna have to hope that we can get as many parts as we can so we can continue to move on, because as we see, there is still a lot more to be discovered and to explore. But of course, we will find out all about that and more in the next episode. So guys, I do thank you so much for watching today's video and new Let's Play of Let's Play Pikmin. I will go over the series a lot more as the series progresses. This is going to be day 1, of course, just the tutorial day, so not the most exciting, you just get to learn about the game. But starting from now until the end, there's going to be a lot more havoc and adventure. We're going to be seeing a lot more Pikmin, there's going to be a lot of enemies, we're going to have a lot of heartache, and of course, brilliant moments. But we will find all about that and a lot more as the series progresses, and we'll find more about that next time when we enter the Forest of Hope to find any parts. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we will all be going back to the Forest of Hope for day 2 and do our first exploration there. I will see you guys back here then. Take care.